Hello, I'd like to talk to you for a few moments about Windows security features. My name's John Everly. I've been an instructor here at TrainAce since 2004. I've worked in the IT industry about 40 years. One of my jobs was the lead system administrator for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations for over 7 years, and I got a lot of experience I'd like to share with you. So let's get into talking a little bit about Windows security. The most critical thing we can do with Windows security is consistent and timely installation of updates. If we're not installing updates, it's kind of a self-inflicted wound. Feature updates, add new features, generally require a new setup, and they're generally released a couple times a year, usually April and October. They're not installed automatically unless the current Windows version ends its support life cycle. Then it would be installed automatically. Another program that's very important in the protection of Windows is the Microsoft Defender antivirus program. Make sure it's turned on. Make sure that all these following settings listed are enabled. Real-time protection, cloud-based protection, protecting personally identifiable information is crucial. It's valuable to identity thieves, so take extra steps to keep it safe. Use a firewall to safeguard your internet connection. That's very important. Uh, Microsoft Defender antivirus is easy to use. It has automatic updates that detect the latest threats. And it comes with a built-in firewall. Uh, the smart screen is another feature that needs no manual configuration, scans downloads, and blocks execution of those that are known to be malicious. Blocks unrecognized programs, but allows users to override those settings if you need to. Windows configuration. You need to configure Windows to allow authorized apps only to prevent unwanted program installation. A couple of ways of doing that. You can use an application virtualization program or setting, or you can go to Settings, Apps and Features. Under that Installing Apps heading, you can choose Allow Apps from the store only if you only want things from the store to be allowed on your computer. This setting will allow the previously installed apps to run, but will prevent the installation of any downloaded apps from outside of the Microsoft Store. Like I said, if you want to do that, that's a way to make that happen. Um, Another very good program, part of the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, a replacement for BIOS, is the Windows Secure Boot. It detects changes and installs a safe version of files before malware can execute. It prevents those rootkits from loading during device startup, because that happens before Windows boots. Rootkits will use permissions identical to that of an operating system, like admin privileges, and try to hide themselves. They infect a system when it's being started or rebooted. And again, that's part of the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface called UFI. Account security is another big issue and a big way to protect yourself. Passwords can be set up to require users to change them periodically, enforce a minimum password length, require them to be complex, prevent old passwords from being used again. I know we generally remember the last 24. Wait a certain number of minutes after a specified number of unsuccessful logins has taken place before logging in again. That's generally not used in the government and the military, but some commercial firms do allow that. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the account security. The principle of least privilege means giving users access to only what they need to do their jobs. Most users don't need any admin rights and should be restricted from functions that compromise your computer security. It's important to give them the permissions they need, but don't give them permissions they don't need. Access control lists are another method to lock down accounts. It's a list of permissions or restriction rules for access to an object file, like a file or folder. They control which users or groups can perform what on those specified file or folders. All right, that's our quick 3-minute brief, 4-minute brief on Windows security. Thank you for watching. If this was of interest to you, please contact us. Let us help you start or help you move on in your IT career. You can reach us here